Okay, we've been asked by Mike from Hawaii to put together a set of irons that he's just sending us the heads. So after we talked to him a little bit, we've decided on the KBS 105 and some CP2 jumbo-sized Golf Pride grips. Now why is that? Well, the CP2 Golf Pride Jumbo grip is that non-tapered soft grip that keeps its tack even when hands might sweat or things get hot. And we've done some reviews. It's actually a really good grip. The 105 KBS, Cambrelli shafts, the 105 has just been a really good shaft, and it's been consistent. I can get my frequencies in, the weights are pretty good, and as you'll see further on into this video, that's exactly what it turns out to be. So the 765 with the KBS 105 and the CP2 should turn out to make a really good iron set. Now, not to forget, but we also are making a 4 hybrid from Adams. The 4 hybrid, we are using the Acra I-Series 85 M4 shaft. And why is that? Well, it falls in line. Has a bit of a same profile. We can make it the same stiffness. The other part is, if Mike decides that he really likes this, we can make a fairway wood and a driver to match that shaft and get the same kind of properties out of it. So we're going to keep building, and you'll be able to see, kind of jumped ahead here after it was all said and done to further explain what we were doing. So back to the build. Welcome back to the next day, and you saw me working, cleaning up on the iron heads and reaming them out. Now the real issue with that is that when I take some of that 2-inch paper towel and get it really damp or really soaking with acetone, and I run it down in there and swirl it around and bring it back out, run it down, swirl it back out. Then what you have to do is you have to let the acetone dry, all right, because there's always a little film on there. So instead of getting right into the build and risking the club head to come apart, I let it set overnight, and because I was doing that late night anyway. So I've done all that. It's nice and dry. Now when we talked about me cleaning out the sides of the heads, all right, the back end of the heads to remove a lot of the corrosion and the rust that was on it, worked out pretty good. As I was looking at them though, there was a lot of dents and stuff in there. And as I was looking at them though, after I was done, there was a lot of dents and a lot of dings and things that were in there, and that's just normal use. So what I did is I put a different belt on my 8-inch jet grinder, and I took like a medium nylon belt to them to try and work out some of the dents, or at least minimize it, and then it gives it a bit of a different look. It's a little cleaner, and also gave the toe end a little bit better look. And I did that on all of them, so worked out pretty good. I've already measured the club heads, and they're spaced well. And I've measured the shafts, and they are only 1 gram off of each other, which is really good. And the grips are really good as well. So I've already spined a line. So what we're going to do is just let you sit here and watch me put them together, because I've done this on assembling of other irons, and there should be, I'm hoping that when I point up in this direction, there'll be a little white circle, and then you can go to some other ones where I've actually assembled them. So what I'm going to do is speed it right up, and we'll get done quick. So hang on. Well, my clubs are dry, and now we're into the finishing process. So I did a little bit of ferrule finishing as far as the shape. Now we're going to make them shine. Got the acetone in my 2-inch squares. And we just keep back and forthing. And get about 4 to 6 clubs on this. And what really helps here is that you always, when you finish, there's always a little bit of this, a little bit of that's on the golf club, and you're like, well, is that going to look good or not? Well, normally the acetone basically takes it off, and you know what you've got. I always leave 1 or 2 over just in case when I'm buffing it that it messes up the ferrule for some reason. It's rare, but it does happen. So I leave a couple open. Let me throw this away and we'll start doing this. Now you see where I was turning the club into the machine and I was moving slow. You do that because the machine does the work, not you. And then when you get all this done, you wipe it off and it looks pretty good. So what we're going to do after I get this all wiped down is we'll cut them to length and we're going to grip them. Now, measuring and cutting to length, again, you've seen on many of the videos. If not, go back and check my build videos. I will, all it is a big noise maker, but I'll put up some links. And then we'll put some grips on them, and we'll talk about the grips when we go to put them on, and we'll get back to you. Alright, so we've got the clubs cut, and just as a reminder, when you cut them, normally some sort of slag is created unless you're using a pipe cutter, and when you do that it tends to round the bottom. It's just part and parcel of what you use to cut the shaft. So when we do it with the grinding wheel, it always leaves a little bit of slag, so I always take the slag off, not only the butt end but the tip end, and then what I do is I take it and I clean the edge so there's no rough edges, because the last thing you need to do is cut yourself wide open. So we've got they're all frequency matched, as you saw in the very fast video. And we got the ferrules done, which you saw the polishing, and now we're doing the gripping. So while we're doing this, normally I do this during the cleanup, but we promised Mike a pretty quick turnaround, so we're going to do it right here. So the Titleist Look, they're 765. You know, I don't think Titleist makes a bad head. A little bit older. Yep, 765. And we got that guy cleaned up pretty good. Okay. And based on talking with Mike and the way that he golfs, we came up with, he had a inch longer clubs, but he was a standard guy. So I asked him if his swing was flat. He said no. I said, well, why? He said, that's just something he was used to. So we talked about it and decided that we're going to go with a little bit more of a, closer to a standard length. And so, Mike, what I did, you know, sometimes people will cut off an extra amount of shaft in order to make room for the grip cap. In this particular instance, the way I normally do it, I did not. So you get this like 1/4 of an inch, a little bit of length. So you kind of, it won't be an inch long, but it won't be an inch short either. Be, you know, extra 1/4 of an inch. The other thing you didn't see me put together was this. You saw me polish up the hybrid. What I put in was an Acura I-Series 85. He wanted the same length. However, if I was to make it the same length as a 4-iron, then it would be extraordinarily light, even if I put weight in it. So I'm leaving it a little bit longer so it will feel better. And Mike, I know you've got the tools at the house. If for some reason you feel it's too long, and you know, most in the carpentry way, it's easier to take it off than it is to put it on. So I left it a little bit longer than what you're asking for, but it's still within the spec of the club, even with these jumbo grips on it. And the thing with these jumbo grips, if you've been using larger grips and somebody's made them longer for you on purpose, they may have been cheating the swing weight, making them longer because they knew you were going to put these bigger grips on, which is not what you want to do. So hopefully we've got her figured out, and go from there. Last two things is we put in this KBS 105. KBS has been doing a very, very good job for us, and they came out, you know, the weights were good, swing weights were good, frequencies were good. So I have yet to have any real trouble with the product, so I can recommend it quite a bit. And they have, you know, stuff for the aggressive swinger, stuff for the easy swinger, and this is what I would call standard swinger, just a tad light. I've been finding that the 105 gram is 105, 110 is kind of a sweet spot. And then finally, the Golf Pride grip. We're using the pt2 wrap jumbo, and for those of you remember, I did the giveaway and we did the standard. And this is a grip that has very little taper at the bottom end. So, and it's a softer grip. So you get kind of best of both worlds. It's not super sticky tacky, but the composition in it is such that it has grip. And the fact that it's soft. The other big deal is it doesn't have very much taper at the bottom hand. So if you're a 10-fingered grip kind of guy, or you just feel that maybe the bottom is a little bit soft, or you like choking down. It doesn't feel, you know, when you on normal grips you choke down and you feel like you're grabbing a noodle. If you do it on these grips, it feels fine. So, and I think they'll last a while in the, you know, typical tropical heat of Hawaii at 75 degrees. Yeah, I'm jealous. especially when it's 28 degrees here right now. But so after we get this done, the final steps are to we put the shaft stickers on, then we check the lofts and lies and put a nice coat of cleaning wax on it, and then we ship it out to Hawaii, and should get there in pretty quick time, I think. So if you guys have any questions on what we're doing here, and remember that we did some reaming, so that's the reason why we're able to use these and get the frequency matching going. But if you have any questions, you can leave a comment on the show notes below, or you can email me at McGolf or clubmaker@mcgolf.net, and I will be sure to answer you. And hopefully we hear back from Mike and we'll see how these worked. And let's see your scores go low.